All right, anyway, enough commercialization or commercialism or commerceosity. We've got an email here from one of the fine listeners. I don't know if I should say the last name Wesley. He may be Wesley is his first name. His last name, he may be related to a famous football player. I don't want to get him in trouble, but should I say it?
Now I'm curious, but I don't know if you should say
Okay,
it.
well, here he is. Wesley is the son of the great Otis Sistrunk.
No, he's not. Stop it.
Well, who else has ever been named f***ing Sistrunk?
His last name is Sistrunk?
Sistrunk. Otis Sistrunk in the NFL.
This guy, not
and
Otis. I know who Otis Sistrunk is. This guy, his name is Sistrunk?
Is Sistrunk. Wesley Sistrunk. So he's got to be related, right? There's no other way around it.
Who knows? Does he know his football? We'll find out.
I've heard of a bunch of people being pissed drunk, but never anybody else being cis-drunk.
It's the stupidest joke you've ever said, but it's so funny.
So anyway, but because he's a football expert, you see, is Wesley. So it all matches up. It all comes together. Anyway, he writes, in your latest clip about Tony Khan's role with the Jacksonville Jaguars, you mentioned the coach who was fired for drunken photos with a random girl at the bar. And that guy's name is Urban Meyer. Remember, he was in the news a couple years ago because he got fired for...
No, I remember him even before then because Real Sports on HBO did at least one, maybe two profiles on him after he left. He's got a little bit of a history, this guy.
Well, we were about to talk about it because apparently, I just was wondering, well, why did they fire this guy for just, flirting with some girl at the bar? But apparently it was one of those straws and camel's backs and things. But anyway, Mr. Sistrunk goes on to say, you guys may not be football fans, but I'm one of the unfortunate diehards who follows not only the on-field results, but also the off-field drama. The coach in question is Urban Meyer, who is one of the most celebrated coaches in college football history, but had never before coached in the NFL. Without getting into too many details, the differences between a college and NFL head coach are vaguely comparable to the jump from college wrestling coach to professional wrestling trainer. Nominally related, yet completely different in approach and execution. For this reason, most college coaches don't work out in the NFL. So you, Mr. Baseball, is it the same way? Do they have college baseball?
Yeah, but most guys don't go from college right to the major leagues. Most guys go through the minor league system.
So that takes they have to be older then because they got to finish college and then go to the minor league and play for the Toledo Mud Hens or whatever.
I'll put it this way, and I'm probably wrong, but I can't think of an example offhand of a college baseball manager going to the major leagues and becoming a major league manager.
Well, it may be the same principle, but anyway, he continues. In Meyer's case, he had an aura of excellence that could be and often was intimidating to athletes coming out of high school. Because of this, his coaching technique often consisted of behavior that he could get away with in college but wouldn't fly with professional grown men. Specifically, he was mentally and sometimes physically abusive to his players under the doctrine of pressure makes diamonds. It also makes fucking compacted junk cars in a fucking junkyard. So
sounds like Bill Watts would have liked this guy.
Well, he might have. Maybe. Well, football, you never know. Maybe he had Urban Meyer as a coach down at Oklahoma. Anyway, Wesley continues, admittedly it worked. He's one of only two coaches to have won a national championship at two different schools. However, this approach completely bombed in his short tenure in the NFL. Grown men aren't going to be intimidated by a bully simply because they're expected to be, let alone one who is, in some cases, a foot shorter and 100 pounds lighter than them. Did this guy ever play football?
I don't.
Or was he like Abe Saperstein in the Harlem Globetrotters?
I want to say his dad may have been a coach at some point too, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I got to check.
Well, anyway, so this midget, anyway, He says your respect must be earned. If Tony Khan had even the slightest knowledge of football, he'd have known that college success does not equate to professional success due to the dramatically different nature of the two businesses. But listen to this. What cannot be dismissed as naivete, however, are the cultures that Meyer fostered during his stints in college. 31 of his players were arrested during his 6 years as head coach at the University of Florida, including Aaron Hernandez, a star tight end who was eventually convicted of murder during his NFL career. I remember this fucking guy. And he says the controversy surrounding player arrests came to a head in 2010 when Meyer abruptly retired due to heart issues. Now, that was 14 years ago, right? Am I doing my math right?
I think so.
Okay, well, listen, for heart issues. He's still around. 2 years later, he was hired as the coach for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So apparently his heart got better. During his 7th season, he again became embroiled in controversy when it was found that he covered up domestic abuse committed by his wide receiver coach that stretched back to his time at Florida. The coach in question is the grandson of Meyer's late mentor, and Meyer took an approach of willful blindness out of a misguided sense of loyalty. But now we get to the Jaguars, the Jags, as they say in the industry. While at the Jaguars, he continued his history of belittling and demeaning players. Unlike in college, his approach made the team one of the worst in the NFL. Before the season even started, he was fined $100,000 for violating undisclosed NFL rules regarding off-season practice. This also cost the Jaguars $200,000.
And this would have been during, I guess, the period of time, because we saw him. Remember, he was during one of the stadium stampedes. They went into a room, and there he was coaching.
Yeah.
And I think he got to hit one of the heels. Was it Jericho? It was someone.
It may have been some glory hound, because he was hot for a minute here in the news. The coach, I mean, not Jericho. Yeah, and then, well, after he cost him that money, he then proceeded to go 2-11 before he was fired. However, he was not let go for getting drunk and flirty at a bar. I hadn't heard about this. Maybe you have. The final straw came when it was reported that he kicked the team's place kicker during warm-ups before their final preseason game. And when confronted, Meyer said,
where?
Well, it doesn't say they kicked him on the football field.
No, but did it kick him in the crotch? Did it kick him in the shins?
I don't know, but it says when confronted, Meyer said, I'm the head coach. I'll kick you whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, Bill Watts would have loved this guy. This guy should go to Mid-South.
So he got kicked out for kicking the kicker.
Did they pay him? Did they have to pay him the remainder of his contract?
It does not...
Is he being paid by them today?
It does not say one way or the other. But after that came out, the Cons finally fired him, he said. But yeah, he kicked the kicker. Don't kick the kicker.
It all comes back to when ownership thinks they know more than the people who actually know stuff. Again, I saw it with the Mets for years. The Wilpon family thought they knew more than the baseball people. And it killed the franchise. Now we see things being done the opposite way. I can't speak about Shad Khan, but at least Tony Khan certainly believes he knows more than everyone else about everything. And we see how him knowing more than everyone else about wrestling has worked out. Can only imagine what it's like working for that team and having to deal with them.
Do you think there's anybody in the football journalism world like
Alex Marvez?
I was about to say who in football journalism tells Tony what a wonderful job he's doing with his football players?
Alex Marvez.
And you answered the question before. You ought to play Family Feud. You jumped right in on it.
There aren't too many NFL reporters that Tony has just given jobs to for 5 years for no reason and sat ringside with at wrestling shows before that. So Alex Marvez.
Well, sometimes you just got to march to the beat of your own drummer, Brian.
Or kick him.
Well, no, he didn't kick the drummer. He kicked the kicker.
Oh, of course, they don't have a drummer.
He should have drummed the drummer.
Team. They don't have a drummer.
Of course, yeah, they do. They have the big guy that hits the fucking drum from either side. You got the big red floppy hat on, and they're twirling. They're twirling the fuck. Well, it's all part of the same team. It's the same show. They're all pulling the same rope. They're all wanting the same goal. So there comes the drummer on the football team. And people are marching right behind him. You know why? Because he's the fucking drummer, and that's what you do. You follow the drummer. But some people have their own drummer. They got the beat of that drummer inside their head or in their ears.
What about the Pied Piper? There was no drum involved.
Well, dude, nobody pipes in the goddamn world anymore. They drum, but they don't pipe. They pipe in Scotland, but that's bagpipes.
Right.
So it would be more like a tea bag over here, but nevertheless.
A flute. People play
What would you like to listen to in your ears from Raycon?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist. And you'll be able to hear it courtesy of the everyday earbuds from Raycon. Because I'm telling you, whether you're listening to flutes or piccolos or oboes, it doesn't matter. Anything in the horn section, the string, they're all going to sound as clear as day because they're coming from inside your head. Folks, the voices are coming from inside your head, courtesy of the low-cost and high-quality Raycon Everyday Wireless Earbuds, the 32-hour battery life. You've got the multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with two devices at once. Of course, Brian, that didn't work for me because I had my phonograph record player going in one ear, and I had my cassette tape player going in the other ear, and I couldn't make out either song because they were playing at the same time. So I'd stick with one device, but you can put two together if you want.
Again, stick with one. You're going to throw your equilibrium off if you're listening to two different things at once in each ear. So,
well, I wanted to try it, just see if it worked. Maybe it'll work for you. Maybe Vince has two brains. We found that out on Netflix. But anyway,
hey, let me stop you there. Do you think Vince having two brains is just he doesn't understand you're able to have two thoughts at once? That anyone could do that? Does he think he's special because I was thinking about eggs and at the same time I was thinking about Hulk Hogan? Like anyone could do that.
Well, but the problem was,
and then he was thinking about sex with his third brain.
Hulk Hogan was eating the eggs, and he was reading a Playboy magazine. So it's all interconnected.
It's the color of the yolk.
And that's the same. Well, and speaking of colors, the everyday earbuds that we were speaking about momentarily ago come in a variety of vibrant colors to complement any and all skin tones. I mentioned they're still working on the heartbreak of psoriasis. I understand now that poison ivy is complete and ready to be rolled out. And they've got the quick charge function. 10 minutes of charging, you get 90 minutes of battery. So every 90 minutes, just plug this thing in for 10 minutes, don't sleep, and you can listen to music all the way around the day. They've got, as I mentioned, the active noise cancellation, so you can just drown out the outside world by canceling all the noise, and you'll be deaf as a doornail. You won't be able to hear a thing, and it's weatherproof and sweat resistant. So unless you plan to stick your head in a bucket or go bobbing for apples on Halloween, you should be good, and these things ain't going to fall out. You just stick them in real good and turn them about 3 or 4 full revolutions to screw them in.
No, that's not how it works. You just put them right in your ear, no screwing.
Well, you can have sex at the same time because you don't have to hold on to them.
No ear screwing.
So you could actually have, you screw them in your ears, and then you can screw the other screws in where they need to go. If your ears are stripped, just put a little caulk in there and they'll stay in.
Don't do that either, but put the Raycons into your ear and enjoy those good tunes like Chubby Checker, his psychedelic album Checkered.
And Neil Sedaka, because Sedaka's back, baby. Do-run, 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 run, do-run, do-run. He had such a manly voice, too.
He was,
so right now.
No!
What?
No! No!
No?
I can't believe you like Neil Sedaka. What is happening to the world?
He was, they had him up as he was going to be, it was either him or Burt Reynolds was going to do that Cosmopolitan centerfold. And then they cast him as the Marlboro Man, but he thought it would give his fans a bad image if he was caught smoking. But Neil Sedaka, if we had more Neil Sedakas in the country, ladies and gentlemen,
we'd have more
it'd
puppy
be a
love.
Better country.
Yeah, let's get back to Raycon and away from this.
And they called it Puppy Love.
See, again,
so
that's
stop
just
the fuss.
Terrible song. No one should listen to.
Well, you should listen to him on your Raycon everyday wireless earbuds.
Listen to something else. Listen to something better.
Are you trying to tell the people what you can listen to? That's what Raycon stands for, is freedom of listening. That's in the Constitution. Everybody has the right to listen to whatever kind of music they want to listen to. That's Amendment 46-B, Subchapter 3, Paragraph 2. Stop the fuss, folks. Go to buyraycon.com/JCE today to listen to this now, 20 to 50% off site-wide. 20 to 50% off, depending on what you're getting. It'll be easily marked there, 20 to 50% off at buyraycon.com/JCE. That's what we're doing for you for Christmas, is saving you money. You can get half off, and that way you get twice as much stuff, and you'll come out even. Depending on your skin tone. We're still waiting on psoriasis.
No, you will come out ahead with Raycon and listen to all your favorite podcasts, all your favorite books, all your favorite songs with Raycon. One more time, definitively, Jim. What's that promo code?
Definitive. Is there some bad blood between us? buyraycon.com/JCE. Because breaking up is hard to do, so don't break up with your Raycons.
All right, well, let's get away from Neil Sedaka. Let's get away from all that. And this is your show. Why am I going anywhere?
I was going to let you. I was just waiting to see where you led the fine folks.